Welcome to my full ship tour of P&O Azura, one of the cruise ships in the P&O Cruises fleet. This cruise ship launched in 2010, so she's no longer one of the new kids on the block, and she fits really nicely into the mid-ship category within the P&O Cruises fleet. She's nowhere near as large as the likes of Iona or Arvia, but she is a good bit bigger than her smaller sisters, for example Aurora and Arcadia. If you do enjoy this video today, it would be great if you would give it your thumbs up and also come with me on so many more ships. Just click that subscribe button. Anyway, let's get on board and let's begin our tour today in the main atrium. This triple-decked atrium spans across decks 5, 6 and 7. In here, you're going to find every single evening of your cruise, traditional ballroom dancing. You'll also find various activities in here, all during the day on a sea day. You'll also notice that it was Christmas time when I was on board, so throughout this video, you're going to see some beautiful Christmas trees and beautiful decoration. Coming off of the atrium in all directions, you're going to find a number of different venues. Up first, this is Java, which is the coffee shop that you'll find on deck 5, and directly across the atrium, you'll find 2 desks. Up first is Explorers, and also in here is the Loyalty and Future Cruise sales desks. You'll find the opening hours for both of these desks here on this board just before you go in. So if you are looking to speak to someone about, for example, P&O Cruises loyalty program, or booking a future cruise, or booking a shore excursion on your current cruise, just make sure you know when they're going to be available. You can also find their opening hours in your daily schedule, which should be delivered to your cabin every evening of your cruise. There's also a desk outside, which is manned at slightly different times, and they also publish information when the desk doesn't have anyone working on it. Right next door, you're going to find the first of our shops on this tour today, and here you'll find plenty of P&O Cruises branded items. You'll also find some, perhaps, staples that you might need during your cruise. I find the prices in the P&O shops to be pretty agreeable, to be honest. If you need souvenirs, or if you need something to keep you going during your cruise, this is where you'll come. I will show you all the other shops as we progress through this tour today, so don't worry that you're not seeing any duty free in here. That's still to come. Further across the hall, you'll find the library. In here, you'll find books that you can rent, or you'll also find computers that you can use. If you're looking to access the internet on one of the computers, you will need a Wi-Fi package that you can purchase on board. I meet quite a few people who assume that if you use the internet in here, it would be complimentary, but that's not the case. Books in here can be taken away to your cabin. You just have to check them out and then check them back in at the desk over there. Otherwise, you might find a charge on your onboard account. Heading down towards the front of the ship now, you're going to find the art gallery. I found the art gallery on board this ship to be enormous. Look at the size of it. At the point of my cruise, this was operated by White Wall Galleries and was, to be honest, pretty similar to any other gallery that I would expect to see on any other ship. This corridor was quite a main thoroughfare because it would take you from the bottom floor of the main atrium down towards where the gangway would be some days when you would disembark the ship. So don't worry, I'm sure that at some point during your cruise, you're going to filter along here, and you can check out the artwork on your way ashore. Now we've covered what's towards the front of the ship from the atrium. Let's talk about heading back. The venue that you'll find heading towards the back is the Meridian Restaurant. Unfortunately, that wasn't open during my cruise, so I've not been able to get any content from inside. Heading up a deck, staying in the main atrium, you've got reception. And then to the side of reception, you're going to find more shops. In here, you might be seeing more familiar brands that you might have expected when we talk about the subject of shopping and duty-free shopping on a cruise ship. So in here, you can shop until you drop. Now, welcome to the Peninsular Restaurant. If you're looking for a location of the restaurant, you're going to find this in the atrium and then head towards the back of the ship. I really like the main dining rooms on board this class of ship. I always think they feel really quite grand for the type of cruise that you're on. You'll also notice that there is quite a nice amount of space in between each of the tables, and there's this really nice twinkling starlit sky that's above you while you have your dinner. It's a really nice touch, and when it's darker in here at night, it really does help to set a really nice atmosphere. Whether you're a small table for two, or a much larger table in this case, I'm pretty confident that you'll enjoy your dinner at Peninsular. That's heading towards the back. Let's now go to the other side of the atrium and push towards the front of the ship. The first venue that you're going to find is the onboard casino. This venue actually is a good size for a casino on board a British cruise ship. I often find that the casinos on British ships can be much smaller than that, so a big thumbs up. The casino then leads directly into Brodie's, which is essentially P&O Azura's answer to a British pub or a sports bar. So if you are cruising and you're looking to watch the football, the rugby, the cricket, or whatever kind of sport, chances are, if the signal is acceptable, you'll be able to watch that in here. Brodie's is also where you'll find a jukebox that you can play your own music, and you'll also find a snooker table. So if you would like to play snooker or maybe a game of pool after dinner, then you can come and do that here. Look, Brodie's is just right there. Leaving Brodie's behind, the next venue we need to look at is the Playhouse, which is all the way at the front of the ship, and this is the Onboard Theatre. You'll find this venue spanning across decks 6 and 7. There is an entrance on deck number 6, which is where we've just come in, and there's another up on deck number 7. Using the deck number 7 entrance means that you'll enter the theatre from the back, so if you are running perhaps a few minutes behind for the performance, it's much easier to get in if you go to the entrance on deck number 7 rather than walk in with everybody looking at you. All the way at the back of the ship, on deck number 6, is the Oriental Restaurant, which is another of the included dining rooms on board P&O Azura. You might be wondering how many restaurants are included in your cruise fare on board this ship. Now, there are a few more informal options which I will show you later in this video, but you'll find 3 main dining rooms included in your cruise fare. We've already spoken about the Meridian Restaurant and the Peninsular Restaurant, and then this is the Oriental Restaurant. So that's the 3 main dining rooms that are included, and hopefully you've noticed that between the 2 that I've showed you in this video, they actually don't look too different. It's mostly just colour schemes that change. Moving up a deck, welcome to the Promenade Deck on deck number 7 of the ship. Here, you'll find a full wraparound promenade deck, meaning that you can walk from one side of the ship, around the front, down the other, round the back, and keep on going. Why not keep a tally of how many miles you walk when you're on your cruise? Don't worry, I'm not about to spend this whole video telling you about exercise. Let's come back inside and let's talk about food and drink. The next venue we're going to look at is the Glass House, and you'll find this towards the front of the ship on deck number 7. In here, you'll find speciality wines, you'll also find bar nibbles, you'll find light bites, and you'll also find a full dinner menu. I really rate the Glass House pretty highly. They do a really nice beer in here, which is the one that's duplicated there, which is the Jolly Ollie. So the wines and the beers are curated with the help of Ollie Smith. So definitely check out the Glass House when you're on board this ship. Just coming slightly further back from the Glass House, you'll find yourself back on the top floor of the main atrium, which is where you'll find more shopping. So there's shops on deck number 5, deck number 6, and deck number 7 on board Azura. Next up, let's talk about the Blue Bar. This venue looks down into the main atrium, and as the name suggests, is themed on the colour blue. If you've ever sailed on P&O Azura's sister ship Ventura, Ventura has a red bar, so it's quite interesting to see the subtle changes within very similar ships of the fleet. Next up, heading towards the back of the ship, you've got the photo gallery. This is where you can purchase any photographs that are taken of you during your cruise. This is also where you can place any orders for fresh flowers, and it's also where you can buy camera equipment. So if, for example, you need a memory card, don't worry, you can buy it down here. On the right hand side, that's Sindhi, which is the onboard Indian. My footage in there didn't really work because it was so dark when I was filming, so unfortunately we'll bypass both that one and also the bar venue next door, which is called Malabar. Let's fast forward all the way down to the back of the ship and let me show you Manhattan. This is the late night venue on board Azura, and I found that the atmosphere in here was absolutely fantastic. I managed to time my ship tour filming perfectly with them testing out the lighting rig, so you can get a bit of a feel for what it would be like to spend the night at Manhattan, and maybe even to spend the night strutting those tiles up on the dance floor. You'll find a bar at the back of the room, so if you do have a drinks package, everything is included in here. Between decks 7 and 14 are decks full of passenger cabins. If you'd like to see any of the rooms on board this cruise ship, head over to the P&O Cruises playlist on my channel and you'll find a number of different room tours there. The first venues that we're looking at up on deck 14 and 15 are the Terrace Pool on 14 and the Terrace Bar on 15. Sticking on the topic of swimming pools, heading towards the front of the ship, you've then got the Aqua Pool, which is a swimming pool that has then got a number of raised decks that go all the way around it. And moving towards the front again, you'll find the Coral Pool. I would say the Coral Pool is probably the main swimming pool on board, but there is more lounger space at the other one, just due to how it's been built up. The Coral Pool is where you'll also find a number of different poolside venues. Up first, you've got the Poolside Grill, delivering things like burgers, hot dogs and fries. Beside that, you've got the Coral Bar, and at the other side of the pool, you're going to find the poolside pizzas and ice cream counters. The pizzas in this case are included, the grill is included, but the ice cream is an additional charge. Moving inside now, let's look at Venezia. This is the onboard buffet restaurant on board Azura, and again, similar to what I mentioned earlier, look at the table spacing between the tables in this venue. I've been on ships where the buffet can feel really quite cramped, but I didn't get that impression in here at all. Let me leave you to have a look at some of the food that was on offer in this buffet restaurant, and I'll see you at our next venue, which is the Beach House, in a little minute. Next up, let's look at the Beach House. This restaurant is inspired by South American, Caribbean and stateside cuisine, and personally, I give it a huge thumbs up. I really love how it's a bit more informal here in comparison to the other speciality dining venues, and that is largely due to the fact that this is directly behind the Venezia buffet restaurant. Here's the food that I ordered during the meal that I had at the Beach House. I even got one of these cook on the stone steaks, and it was honestly one of the best things that I've eaten on a P&O cruise. Heading back outside and heading up a deck, the next thing to talk about is the Azura Deckchair. Loads of the P&O ships have this, and you have to get your picture taken in that deck chair at some point. Directly behind the deck chair, you're going to find a number of sun terraces which I think are actually quite poorly known about, which means that often when you come up here, you'll find loungers available, even if there aren't loungers available elsewhere on the open decks. Look, up here, it comes up, and I don't think a lot of people know that this is actually up here. If you're just coming up for a photo or two, like I do, then you'll get some great views looking down towards the back of the ship up here, and also off the side into port. Speaking of views, let's talk about the very front of deck number 16. This is where you're going to find a pretty rare viewpoint on a cruise ship, and that's a forward-facing viewpoint because the open deck here actually goes round to look over the top of the bridge. What you're seeing on the right-hand side at the moment is the spa and the gym and the treatment rooms, which I will take you in and show you. So the glass at the very front of the ship is the onboard gym. It took me by surprise to find this viewing area up here. I really loved sailing into port and standing up here at the very front of the ship. It's a feeling that it's so rare to find on cruise ships nowadays, so hopefully this remains a viewpoint and they don't look at expanding venues out to get rid of this. Heading inside, let's now look at the Ivory Suite. This is one of the onboard function rooms, so if you are looking to host a function, an event, or let's say a wedding on board Azura, there's a pretty strong chance that this could be the room you'd be having that in. As you look around here, I hope you're enjoying this video. If you are, please jump down below and give it your thumbs up, and also click that subscribe button. Both of those actions really help my channel to grow, and they really help my content to reach more people. Anyway, shameless plug over for now. Let's leave the Ivory Suite behind, and let's head just across the hall to enter the onboard spa. Up first, we're going to check out the Salon. On the other side of the glass windows, you can see a bit of open deck space. Don't worry, that's not a very busy deck. That's essentially the walkway that we just walked along when we were checking out the forward-facing viewpoint. You'll see beyond those glass windows, there's beautiful ocean views while you're getting your treatments. You could come in here and get your hair done, get your nails done, get your feet done. There's a whole host of things you could do. Just check out the spa price list and the spa menu once you get on board the ship. Heading just along the hall, you're going to find the relaxation room. This room is where you can come to spend a bit of time, perhaps before or after one of your treatments, or maybe when you're spending a bit of time elsewhere in the spa. Along one side of the relaxation room, you'll find the treatment rooms that are available for booking on the ship. So if you would like to come in here and get a massage or some kind of other treatment, this is the corridor that you'll be coming to. Now we'll leave the treatment rooms and we'll head along to check out the onboard gym. People ask me all the time, on a cruise ship, is it easy to stay in shape? Is it easy to exercise? And the answer I would give you is that if you're coming on this cruise ship, you're absolutely not going to struggle. For the size of ship that P&O Azura is, there's a great amount of equipment in here, and there's a huge amount of machines that wrap all the way around this gym. So if you are looking for cross trainers, if you are looking for treadmills, or maybe even free weights, you're really not going to struggle. They also have classes in here, which you do pay extra for, but you can check them out in the schedule once you get on board. Next, let's look at the Oasis Pool. This is a pool that a lot of people assume is an additional charge. You'll find this pool in the middle of the spa, so you've got the spa and all of those lower windows that you're looking at as we pan round here, but you've got a publicly accessible deck just up there, which is where I'm going to take you to have a look at now. This pool is way quieter than the other parts of the ship, so if you are looking for somewhere to relax in peace and quiet, this is probably where you're going to want to come. Just through the locked door on the side there is the retreat, which is where I'll take you into now. The retreat on board a P&O Cruises ship is an extra charge versus the rest of the ship. In here, you'll find much comfier loungers, much comfier chairs, generally a much more luxurious environment than the main open decks. You'll also find some refreshments, which I'll show you in a second. On a cruise, you should expect to pay X amount for a cruise pass, which will give you access to the retreat for the duration of your entire cruise. One bit of advice that I do always give people when they're looking at booking the retreat for their P&O cruise is that this is not indoors. This is an outdoor area. You can see panning up here that this is covered by quite a heavy duty net that's then open in between. So if you are on a warm weather itinerary, then yeah, the retreat will be wonderful. But if you are on a colder weather itinerary, or an itinerary that's expecting quite a lot of rain, you might want to think about investing that money elsewhere on the ship. One of my favourite features of this cruise ship is the tiered aft. It's becoming increasingly rare that cruise ships have this tiered back terrace and deck section, but on Azura, it's absolutely stunning. Here's the view looking down, and I'm going to take you through each of these different parts of the deck now so that you can get a feel for what's down there. Up first, way up here, you've got the outdoor dining for the Epicurean Restaurant, and then if we head around and go downstairs, the next venue that you're going to see on your left hand side is the Reef, or the Onboard Kids Club. I don't show you the inside of the kids clubs in my YouTube videos because I don't travel with children, I never have, and therefore I would hate to offer you advice on that front, but there's lots of YouTube channels that document family travel, which will be far better placed to do that than I would be. Out here you've also got the splash pool, which at the point of my cruise was a kids pool, which would make sense given it was outside the kids club. And then if you come down these stairs, you find yourselves at the Terrace Bar and the Terrace Pool, which is where we were earlier in the video. This outdoor seating is also perfect for outdoor dining from the buffet, because the buffet is just through those doors on your right hand side. I absolutely adored having my morning coffee out here, especially when I was able to then sit in ship spot. Absolutely brilliant. Now all the way at the back of the ship on deck number 17, you'll find the Epicurean Restaurant. This is the restaurant that you did see the outside section of a second ago, but here's what it looks like on the inside. Personally, I love dining at the Epicurean during formal night. I always think the atmosphere in here is great, and it lends itself really, really nicely to be in here in a much more formal environment. Heading upstairs again, the next venue to show you is the Planet Bar. I really like the view down the side of the ship from this venue, and I'll show you that in a second. In here, you'll find beautiful views looking over to port, and also looking down both sides of the ship. You can sit on armchairs, you can relax on sofas. It's a really chilled out venue here, and here's the view on a day at sea looking down. Amazing, absolutely fantastic. Now we're going to go up one final time, and the next deck that I'm going to show you is deck number 19. Up here there's not too much to report, but there are 2 golf nets and also a sports court. Let me show you one of the golf nets first of all. Don't worry, you don't have to bring your own golf clubs onto your P&O cruise with you. You will find clubs, you will find golf balls in there, and this is all fully netted, so it keeps any spectators safe, and it also keeps the ocean free from golf balls, I guess. So don't worry about losing anything over the side. But yeah, really good facility up here. During my cruise it was a much higher average age, so this part of the ship was pretty quiet for the entire week. I've now shown you every venue on board P&O Azura. Let me now show you one other facility that you might be interested in. This is the onboard laundrette, and you're going to find a laundrette on every single deck of the ship that features passenger cabins. In here you've got a double-doored entry to minimise noise going outside, And in here you're going to find irons with ironing boards, you're also going to find washing machines, and you'll find tumble dryers. So if you like to go home at the end of your trip with a suitcase full of clean clothes, then this might be the answer that you're looking for. I absolutely love when I find a laundrette on a cruise ship, especially one like this that doesn't charge you extra, so you can do all your laundry in here totally free of charge. Just remember to go back and get your laundry. Don't leave it sitting here or you probably will annoy one or two of your fellow passengers. So that's a full tour of P&O Azura. I really hope you've enjoyed this tour. If you have, then it would be great if you would support my channel by clicking both the thumbs up and also the subscribe button. Did you know that I also have my own website? You can find me at fraseratSea.com. On that site, I share so much more details about all of my cruises, so I would love to have you over at fraseratSea.com. For now though, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.